Spectrum Health recently introduced a new technology that will help patients who may be facing lung cancer or other lung diseases. And here to talk with us more about it are Doctors Jeffrey Lam and Gustavo Cumbo. And I want to thank you both for being here. Tell me about this new technology.
Thank you for having us, Kathy. Essentially, we set out with Spectrum Health and Lemon Holton Cancer Pavilion to lead the pack and to be able to get to smaller spots and growths and be able to diagnose these, biopsy these in a minimally invasive way with pinpoint accuracy. And since we have a lot of screening right now for lung, hopefully we can provide our thoracic surgeon, Dr. Lam, with more patients that can hopefully be cured as opposed to undergoing other treatments that are a little bit more bothersome.
So tell me how it works.
Right. That's a good question. The simple version of it is we were the first in Michigan, the fifth in the country to acquire a robot, which is essentially a bronchoscope to go in the air pipes. We use electromagnetic navigation, think GPS, and we can get farther in the lungs with much more accuracy and put a very small instrument in the middle of this spot. We use a CAT scanner to make sure in real time that the needle or whatever instrument is within the area of concern. And by doing that, magic happens because we have been able to get to these things way safer, way faster, and way earlier.
All good stuff for the patient. I understand it's almost like using a game controller, Dr. Lam. Is that sounds kind of fun as well as effective?
Yes, if you look at the controller, it reminds you of an Xbox or a PlayStation controller. But really, it's just another tool that we can use to safely diagnose and then treat patients sooner. I think it's especially important right now in the COVID era. Patients are scared; they're at home. They're not really looking forward to going in for invasive procedures. And I think if we can offer something that's non-invasive and get them home sooner, I think people will feel safer and more reassured from that.
Before there was this option, what is it that you were doing?
Right. There's three ways to diagnose these spots. One is to use older technology that was roughly 70 to 75% accurate by doing an endoscopy or getting a needle through the chest, which is better, but also a little bit more dangerous as there's a risk of collapsed lung. And the gold standard is for Dr. Lama, the thoracic surgeons, to remove a piece of the lung, which is really a last resort, if you will. But this technology essentially lives in the close to 90% likely to get there and do it effectively. And when we put CAT scan, it gets even higher than that. So not only we can use this technology to diagnose effectively, safely, and accurately, but also we can help Dr. Lam whenever he has to take these spots out, and they're very small and very difficult to find, to put a little bit of dye, in a way, tattoo the lung for Dr. Lam to be able to take it out. And I'm pleased to say that he has been 100% effective on getting those things out, and we're publishing that paper. Dr. Lam is one of the authors, and Spectrum Health is in there.
Congratulations, that's cool. So what does this all mean for the future?
Yeah, so I think, going forward, there are certain circumstances when patients may need invasive needle biopsy, but I think a lot of the technology now is moving towards less or non-invasive techniques. I think in order to go to any other major center in this area, you would have to travel 3 hours west to Chicago or 2 hours east Ann Arbor. But we think that there's no reason why people in West Michigan can't come to Spectrum, and we can offer them the same cutting edge technology, which again, as Dr. Cumbo said, is only offered in 5 centers around this country. And reduce pain, reduce length of stay, and get them home sooner.
Ideally, as Jeff was saying, ideally in the future, not long from now, we would be able to get to those spots, and those patients that are not candidates for surgery or for whatever reason they don't want to get cut open or they cannot get cut open. This robot will allow us, in combination with the CT scanner, to put a very small catheter and destroy that tumor or even instill locally chemotherapy. The patient comes to Spectrum Health with a spot. Hopefully in one swing, we can get them taken care of, and hopefully they can rest at night at home cancer-free.
Wow.
It's 150,000 Americans that undergo this type of problem, which is lung cancer, and kills a lot of those. As I said, 150,000 American deaths yearly. 25% of the cancers are lung cancer. So if we can provide patients with a thorough alternative to surgery and chemoradiation, I can tell you that Spectrum Health is leading the pack, and they call us at a 1-855-SH-CANCER, and we'll figure out what's the best for them.
In fact, we'll put all that contact information on our website on 13onyourside.com. Doctors, thank you both for being with us. What exciting news. Good to have you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Kathy.